his storied pledge to return hung in the balance. Facing 23 vastly larger Japanese battleships and heavy cruisers, the 7 small destroyers charged to protect the flat tops. The action is universally known as the last stand of the tin can sailors, a tin can being an affectionate Navy nickname for a destroyer. Despite being totally outgunned, Evans made the hardest of decisions in combat: to risk it all in accomplishing his mission. He laid a smokescreen and charged at flank speed directly at the Japanese to make a torpedo attack, telling his crew over the ship's announcing system that the odds were stacked against them, but they would attack anyway to protect the rest of the force. For 2 hours, the tiny destroyer engaged in a series of gun battles with the much larger Japanese warships. Evans was badly wounded by Japanese shellfire, but his small ship continued the fight relentlessly. The heavy guns of the Japanese fleet, including the largest super battleship in their fleet, Yamato, eventually sank Johnston, alongside several other destroyers. The decision Evans made in the furious moments of combat off Samar to charge a vastly stronger enemy continues to be studied and revered in today's Navy. Even the Japanese fleet rendered honors as the small ship sank before them and treated the survivors they recovered with respect as they were taken prisoner. And because of the heroic actions of Johnston and the other destroyers, the carriers were able to escape. The Japanese admiral believed the destroyers would not have charged without heavier American forces in the vicinity, and withdrew in confusion. MacArthur was able to successfully land his amphibious force and free the Philippines as he had promised. It was the pivotal moment in the most consequential battle at sea of the Second World War. The U.S. success rested on many factors, of course, but the decision Evans made to charge the enemy, a split-second choice when the battle surged around him, was at the heart of the U.S. victory, although it cost him his life and his ship. As I contemplated that battle again and again in the course of a long Navy career, and think about it today, I ask myself 2 questions. The first is simply, what was going through Evans's mind as he gave the order to charge the Japanese fleet? Was he caught up in the bloodlust of the moment? Or was he cool and serene as he maneuvered the ship and launched a spread of torpedoes? Did he think about his childhood or his family? Or was it all drowned out by the booming of the Japanese guns and the hissing rush of the water down the sides of his destroyer as it gained speed? Did he think he could get in, launch torpedoes, and somehow escape the heavy guns ahead of him? Or was it clear that his was indeed a last stand, and he made his hard choice and shut his mind to any chance of escape? The second question is harder to answer. Would I have had the guts to make that hardest of choices? I've seen my share of combat operations, but never anything remotely like the bleak set of options Ernest Evans had before him on that fall day in the humid waters of Leyte Gulf. When I reflect back across the long years I spent at sea in command of warships, the days of the Cold War come back into focus in this regard. In those days, we faced a vast Soviet fleet that had powerful capabilities that could challenge the U.S. in the long cruises where we faced each other in the Mediterranean Sea, the North Atlantic, the novel The Bedford Incident comes to mind, the Western Pacific around the Korean Peninsula, and the Caribbean off the coast of Cuba. It was the hunt for Red October, often, as our aircraft and destroyers worked together to track and often hold down Soviet nuclear submarines. We did that at general quarters, with all hands at their battle stations, and we knew a miscalculation could lead not only to deadly events in our immediate sea space, but enormous consequences for the world. For those Cold War years, we stood the watch, forward deployed, hoping a war wouldn't explode in front of us. In terms of risk, we knew the enemy had deadly capabilities in long-range cruise missiles, land-based attack aircraft,
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.